Some works defy expectations and offer more than meets the eye, and this is certainly true with the book in question. My expectation for this book was that it might be a fun novelty, a collection of paintings and illustrations by Maira Kalman depicting, as the title suggests, women holding things. But what things do women hold? Across the pages of Kalman's book, we see women holding court, holding life, holding opinions. At first, the book delivers on the promise of its title, showing women holding shears, holding honey, holding a giant cabbage. We see the photographer, Ayanna V. Jackson, holding the gaze of the author. We see Marie Hortense Cézanne, wife and model of the artist of the same name, holding her own. The actor Lotte Lenya, holding her co-star Peter Lorre in a scene from a play. And the writer Gertrude Stein, holding true to herself. We see Virginia Woolf barely holding it together, Natalia Ginzburg holding strong, and Sally Hemings holding history accountable. Across the pages of the book, we see repeated images of women holding objects, holding books, holding the hands of their children, holding space for their own thoughts, fears, and concerns. Every image and illustration here is beautifully presented by Kalman. The urgency and sometimes necessary roughness of the sketching, drawn with an apparent quickness to best capture the moment before it passes fleeting into distant memory, combined with the bold use of colour, which is evocative and transformative in its own subtle way, suggest the definite influence of the Impressionists. The art presents moments of still life transformed by those rich colours, as if natural life is being exaggerated in the mind and memory. The atmosphere of each scene depicted is powerfully conveyed, with the art evoking feelings of defiance, solitude, peace, love, calm and silence. The space between the figures, like the space between words, expresses something in its own unguarded presentation, as the gaze of these figures holding things both literal and figurative, in turn hold the gaze of the reader. Had the book simply presented a collection of sketches and characterizations of women holding things, I would have still found the book charming and something to be treasured. However, as I continued through these pages of words and illustrations, following this unravelling thread of Kalman's various digressions and observations, we start to encounter recollections of the author's past, her family history and autobiography, as this more personal story becomes intrinsically interwoven with the genial surface of these women, historical or otherwise, holding on to life and its various forms. An image of Kalman's mother, holding her own sister on the day of her ill-fated wedding, begins a series of elliptical associations, where the remembrance of a significant event unsettles the still surface of time's great ocean, creating ripples of memory in its wake. From here, Kalman reflects on her mother and father, and their strained, often distant relationship. Back further still, she reflects on the life of her grandmother, unable to marry the man she loved, forced instead to marry his brother, and as such denied happiness. And then to the Holocaust, that dark shadow on the heart of the 20th century, which claimed most of the relatives of Kalman's mother and father. When I read the following pages unprepared for the book to suddenly share with me such a profound and vulnerable truth, I felt it on such a deep and personal level that even now, returning to these words for the purpose of this review, the recollection feels true and heartbreaking in its relatability. Kalman writes, "My mother would ask us what is the most important thing. We knew that the correct answer was time. You could say that my mother lost a great deal of time to an unhappy marriage. But how unhappy was it? Shakespearean level? Run-of-the-mill unhappy? Impossible to say. I can't ask her because she is no longer alive, but she ultimately left my father and found her time. Finding time is all we want to do. Once you find time, you want more time, and more time in between that time. There can never be enough time, and you can never hold on to it." After this recollection on time, Kalman considers the Holocaust, and how its scars affected the lives of her parents and herself. From this, the book continues as life continued and continues still, bruised and defeated perhaps, but hopeful and resolute. Somewhat bitterly, Kalman reflects on this sense of often misplaced perseverance in the face of disaster, writing, "The terrors of the world exist, and we are wounded. It would be so nice to never be afraid. But but I am afraid that is just not possible. And yet the book is filled with wonderful evocations of the quiet pastoral of life's rich pageant, where the wonders of nature, the quirks of memory, and the everyday defiances of human beings who choose to live in spite of such disasters speak, if not to the joy of living, then to the fruits of survival. In contrast with the title, the book ends with a series of images of things holding things, with Kalman adding, "Objects around us hold our attention and our love. It is hard work to hold everything, and it never ends." The book is filled with such rich observations and truisms, both in its words and imagery, which again speak to the vulnerabilities and the perseverance of human beings, and our ability to find wonder in things and other people, even following despair. I thought this was an exceptional book, both in its beautiful artwork and in its personal reflections on the subject matter. Kalman's considerations on time, memory, family and loss struck a chord with me, and really captured the mood of this strange, often hopeless, often despairing time we now find ourselves in, where so many of us are striving to live well and to cling to those occasional moments of wonder and amazement, despite the frequent difficulties that life presents. In the absence of anything more profound, I want to end this discussion by quoting the words on the inside of the book's cover, which I think say so much about the brilliance of the book and about the need for stories such as this, which hold a mirror to the quirks and complexities of human experience, emotion, and imagination. "You hold in your hands a thing I hold most dear, a book. If there was ever a time to hold on to something, this is it. Hold on, dear friends, hold on."